Morning, Justice Warriors. I am back. I'm back. I hope that you're back too. I am just refreshed. I took a couple of days off sort of unexpectedly. And it's good to do stuff like that, right? Kind of gives you perspective, a fresh perspective. So, good morning, Susan DA, if you're still here. And I know that one of my mods is going to be dropping in soon. And anybody else that's here, welcome. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, then I say welcome even more, but really welcome to everybody. Everything I say is simply my opinion. It's simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, to learn something, to get educated, and hopefully to be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. Hey, Alistair Grant and Susan. So we're here. Yay. We can have a party now. Pin message. So let me take a drink of some water real quick. So yes, I hope everybody is well. Here we are midweek. Tomorrow's Maudie Thursday. And then Easter is right around the corner. So that's always an exciting time. We got the Easter Bunny coming by our house. I have an 11-year-old. So we will be dyeing eggs and hiding them and baskets full of chocolate and all that stuff. Drives me nuts, but kids, they have to have it. So please hit that like button, share, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. So I just want to catch up with you guys. My goodness. The case of the bushy eyebrow killer, I don't like to joke around too much when it comes to this type of tragedy, but man, sometimes you just have to. I mean, this stuff is laughable, in my humble opinion. In today's modern technology, how on earth could it have taken over a month and a half, for law enforcement to arrest a suspect? We're talking Ring doorbell cams. We're talking Alexis and Siri and all the rest of them. We're talking everybody's cell phone and Apple Watch and gadget recording everything all the time. Police body cams right outside of the 1122 King Road at 3 a.m. It's just crazy. Weeks to put something together with what? Duct tape and spit. And then they're like, oh, it's rock solid because DNA. I don't know. It would be nice if the dangerous person has been taken off the streets. My concern is that there is at least other dangerous people that were involved in this, and I don't know if the criminal defendant is one of the guilty party or not. I've said it before and I can't underscore it enough. I have no interest whatsoever in protecting a guilty criminal defendant that would do something so heinous. I do have quite an interest in making sure that the right people are convicted. So Reese's peanut butter eggs are my weakness. Oh no. Hey, Fred. Hey, Dana. Good morning. Reese's peanut butter eggs. I try so hard to stay away from sugar. I'd have to say that the dark chocolate is my weakness, and especially those Lindt truffle balls. Oh man, those are cray, aren't they? And I also like toffee a lot. So almond roca, that's a good one. Anyway, I came across the funniest content creator in the world, and it's from a new channel to me. No News is Good News with Kim Gnu, and she's actually a brand new channel, but she has had a couple of channels recently, and she's killing it. So she just discovered this guy, Stian Norway. Are you guys familiar with him? Stien Norway. I will put a link in the description. He is cracking me up. So English is definitely not his first language. He's covering this case from the other side of the globe. And man, what a fresh perspective this fella has. I'm just like loving it. It's so freaking serious. If it is not as simple as another Ted Bundy type, that the criminal defendant is just this crazed Ted Bundy type. If it's not that simple, if there's more to it than that, it better get taken care of or it's going to keep happening, right? It's pretty frightening. So I'm curious what you guys have been thinking about. I know there hasn't been a lot of news on this case over the last couple of days, not just because I was laying low, but it seemed like kind of everybody was. There's other cases that are blowing up. And you know me, I like to stay focused. So I'm going to keep my focus on Ms. Keily Rodni. I'm going to keep my focus on the Idaho 4. I have extended that focus into the old cases of who killed Garrett Phillips and Kendrick Johnson case. So if you haven't looked at those cases yet, please do. They're fascinating. They're absolutely fascinating. And I'll tell you why. It's because they're both over 10 years old. They both have had very professional documentaries made about them. And they both look at the possibility of extreme corruption. I hate to use that word. It's sort of like that other C word. Extreme corruption. So if that was possible, the way these cases rolled out 12 years ago and 10 years ago, it's not going to be possible to do that same thing now with modern technology at the ready and with everybody up in everybody's business, right? So could it be that a lot of what we're seeing with the Idaho 4 is a psych ops, that they are trying to test the waters to see how much they can get away with? And when I say they, yeah, tinfoil hat time, I'm talking about, the C word. So, yay, Annie Potts, Pixie Knickers. Good morning, Jazz and Chat. Kind of tired, so I'll be listening. I'm laying down. Annie Potts, yay. Kale, yay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And I always want to thank my mod for being here. It's wonderful to see you guys. So, yes, I understand being tired and not, not being able to participate that much. So, as you guys know, I have been doing a ton of gardening. I told you when I did my last live that I got an entire cubic yard of mulch and I spread that stuff out in a day. So that was Saturday. I did that again over the weekend. And then I went back to where I buy the mulch by the cubic foot or cubic yard, sorry. And I got a cubic yard and a half. And I haven't spread that out yet because I'm trying to pace myself. I don't want to, do myself in. So C is for coincidence, Mr. Centennial. You are so funny. That's a good one. And we don't believe in coincidence. So yeah, it seems that since I started my YouTube channel 7 months ago, I've been neglecting my gardening. It kind of went hand in hand with the season. So trying to strike that balance. And you guys know I also work full time, right? I'm a very busy person. That's why when I'm tired, I am just useless because I kind of go full speed from the time I wake up, which is early, until I crash out at the end of the day. So, but I do sometimes get insomnia. So you'll see me sometimes in other people's chats late at night, but I try not to ever go on in anybody's panel because if I'm participating too much, it'll keep me up and I still have to wake up super early. Kind of crazy how Payne made those changes to his business 2 days after the crime. Crazy. So Annie Potts, yes, she's referring to some information that we were sharing in one of the No News is Good News with Kim Gnu's one of her lives, which was last night. And Annie and I were both too tired to come up on to the phone call situation, be on panel. But we were both quite interested. And yeah, if you look at the history, and I'll put something in my community feed, if you look at the history of this South Hill Meats and Locker, South Hill Meat Locker. Remember a couple weeks ago when I said South Hill Meat Locker, and somebody, I don't remember who it was, I can go back and look, got really indignant that it was South Hill Meats and Locker. So funny that they made such a big deal about one letter and and Meat Locker, Meats Locker, Meat and Locker, Meats and Locker. Those are all names that this business has changed to over recent years. So it's curious why it's changed. This business made a change on record November 15th of 2022. So that's interesting, right? This is one of the businesses owned by the Corporal Payne, who's the lead detective on this case. You guys, I'm just going to spit it out. I get the feeling that he's like another Sammy, that he's the one behind the situation, that he's the one thinking that he can mastermind and control the narrative. So he's got a business that he owns in Illinois that is like a high-tech reputation management company. He has lived in and maybe still owns a business in Castle Rock, Washington, which is just 30 minutes from Centralia, where Caden Young, the University of Idaho student, was found deceased from an overdose a week or two ago. Castle Rock and Centralia are like one town over from each other. Like Centralia is just about a half an hour north of Castle Rock. They're both right on I-5, both south of Olympia, north of Vancouver, Washington. It's kind of eerie that he just happens to have a connection to Castle Rock. And that's my old stomping ground. That's, like I said, just south of Olympia. And I lived in Seattle, Olympia, Portland area for over 20 years. So I know the area well. What are the odds the lead detective owns a refrigerated mobile slaughter truck? Slim to none, I'm speculating. Oh, Ms. Annie Potts, you said it. Thank you. My compass is, what's up, Kale? Going wonky today too, Annie Potts. Kimberly Hunter, woohoo, finally caught a love alive. Isn't that a great typo? I'm just looking at the keyboard because yeah, the I and the O are right next to each other. That's a very cute typo, if that is a typo, which I'm assuming that it is. So yeah, what are the odds the lead detective owns a refrigerated mobile slaughter truck? Slim to none, I'm speculating. So, there's a couple of profiles for Brett James Payne and Brett Matthew Payne. So one of them is 33 years old. The other one is 56 years old. They both have connections to these businesses, especially the butcher shop or the meat and locker or the meats locker or whatever the F you want to call it. So I wonder if it's father and son. I don't know if it's one person with different profiles. The 56-year-old Brett Payne has quite the rap sheet. So a dear friend of mine was able to find this and dig up some personal background information that's public. And it's very concerning, you guys. It's very concerning. Um, is there some type of refrigeration place in Hobart Mills? Okay, I am having uh, a blank on Hobart Mills. I'm not sure what that is. Is that another town in Idaho? Um, so yeah, there's just a lot going on. And this guy, Steen Norway, if I'm saying that right, Stien Norway, he's probably over there in Norway, and he is so flippin' hilarious focusing on this Idaho 4 from across the world and just giving his kind of fresh spin on it. And he's really good with the technology. I mean, he's probably been like a TikToker and all this stuff for like 20 years. He's got the full setup, lots of green screens and all that. Oh, right above Truckee, Hobart Mills. Thank you, Dana. I've never heard of it. It must be a super small town. Wow. Yeah, I'll have to look at the map. Um, Isn't there some type of refrigeration place in Hobart Mills? There's refrigeration places everywhere. I mean, you've got meat trucks, you've got restaurant beef, other meats that are sold nationwide. Chicago's a big hub for high quality beef, right? And a lot of restaurants, with whatever they're serving, they want it fresh, never frozen. So you have to have refrigerated trucks for that, obviously. And what is this? Kale says, was Hobart Mills where Living Lakeside doxed all of the refrigeration units and shipping containers? Oh, leave it to Living Lake time. Casey, he's great. So yeah, these trucks are very concerning. You guys are probably familiar with the theory in the Kylie Rodni case that I think it was Ryan Upchurch who came up with it first, that the her vehicle was probably put into a refrigerated truck cargo container with her in it. And we thought that sounded crazy. And truth is always stranger than fiction. And here we are months and months later, and it's looking like that was a distinct possibility with that situation. And then with the South Hill Meat Locker place up half an hour south of the Canadian border in Bonners Ferry, I think is the name of the town. Yeah. What is up with that? So they've got that business there, but they also have a trucking business that's attached to it. So they've got refrigerated truck units. The two Brett Paynes, if it's two. What else you got here? Potentially a location where Kylie's body might have been stored, right? And lots of Uber rich in Hobart Mills. I was thinking you were talking about like Uber rides, like Uber Lyft. That's funny. Uber rich in Hobart Mills. Is it like the area of Reno, where the potential Kylie sighting happened? Or is it not Reno? Is it that like really wealthy suburb of Reno? Because most of the money is going to be right there at Tahoe. Most of the super wealthy are going to be right there in the thick of it. You obviously have some in Reno, but a lot of people try to stay out of Reno because it's just nasty. It's like it's just nasty. I don't know what else to say. Lots of illegal activity. Skeezy. So, the super wealthy are going to perhaps have business ties there, but they're not going to want to live right there. So they'd be living over on the lake where it's phenomenal. Kevin Neese told us about Hobart Mills. He thought Kylie might have been there. Okay, Susan, thank you. I might have missed that. I try to keep up with Mr. Neese. But I know I've heard Hobart Mills. I'm just not real familiar with it. It's like the old X-Files where the refrigerator truck driver was killing and cooling peeps. Oh my goodness. Kale, I'm a huge X-Files fan. Are you talking about Cerulean Blue? Because it's not even ringing a bell. I love X-Files. You guys remember Cerulean Blue, right? Gross. I think that would be considered north of Truckee. Tahoe is south. Right. Tahoe is kind of just like a little bit slightly south and east. Truckee really is part of Tahoe. I mean, you have to drive through Truckee to get to Tahoe, basically. And it's just a few minutes drive. Kings Beach is one of the towns in Truckee, or I'm sorry, in Tahoe, that's really close to Truckee, that Kylie Rodni's grandfather and father owned a trucking company in. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Kings Beach. So this whole thing with the kings and the queens, you guys, it's so bizarre. Like, is it that horrible? I mean, I'll say it's horrible. The King of Thrones, I mean, it's just the most sensationalized gore, like Sopranos on crack, right? People get so fascinated with that. And yeah, it applies to real life. It's kind of like a Greek tragedy, but you don't really want to take it there. But I get the feeling that that's what a lot of this is these people thinking they're like the King of Thrones. Um, yeah, I would think that would be considered north of Truckee. Tahoe is south. Um, yeah, Interstate 80 goes right through Truckee. And so if you stay on 80 for another 20 minutes, you'll get to Reno. And yeah, you have to cut over onto other smaller roads to go down into Tahoe. And that's the thing about Truckee, is that it's really easy access. So super easy access. I-80 literally goes right through the center of Truckee. I mean, I think most of Truckee is on the southern side of the interstate, but it goes right through town. I mean, right through the center of town, basically, you guys. Um, Good morning, Jazz King. So, yeah, it's interesting to be kind of weaving together the cases of Kylie Rodni and the Idaho 4. I'll say it again. When Idaho 4 first happened, one of my first paranoid thoughts was that this was a distraction trying to get people to move off of the Kylie Rodni case onto something even bigger. And I thought, that's crazy. That's insane, right? That's just paranoia. Um, and yeah, welcome to the channel, Jazz King. I don't know that I've seen you around before, but I like the name. But yeah, kings and queens, here we go. So, there's some similarities with these cases. And like I said a few minutes ago, is the lead detective on Idaho 4 a parallel character to Sammy Smith, being the lead on the whole like search for Ms. Rodni, and the lead for bring me your videos, bring me your photographs? I mean, that was so freaking crazy. Obviously, I mean, she's a kid, she's a civilian, and she knows way too much about the entire situation, and she's given herself away multiple times, multiple times. And she's still skating away so far. Personally, I don't think that's going to continue. I firmly believe that there's a bigger investigation of the investigation going on. And I would hope that something similar to that is going to happen over there in Moscow. Moscow's a freaking mess, you guys. So last night on my community feed, I put up a little page out of the Moscow Police Department's annual report from a couple of years ago, from 2020. And in case you haven't seen that yet, let me see if I can read some of it to you because it's completely insane. This is the very end of it. This is page 44 out of 50 pages. In late 2020, the ATF initiated an investigation into Spokane area drug dealer utilizing information from confidential informants developed in Moscow, Idaho by Corporal Deanne. In December, they executed multiple federal search warrants in the Spokane area, resulting in the seizure of over 4 pounds of methamphetamine, over 300 grams of heroin, and 21 firearms, including 2 suspected machine guns and 2 suspected silencers. 6 suspects have been arrested as a result of that investigation. One second here. All right, continuing. The Quad Cities Task Force was responsible for 72 drug cases and 58 felony and 17 misdemeanor arrests. In addition, the task force efforts resulted in the seizure of 79.32 grams of heroin and 3,479 grams of methamphetamine. Corporal Deanne's collaboration with several different agencies has helped keep dangerous narcotics and firearms off our streets and out of our community. And it just segues right into the final last topic, crime on the University of Idaho campus. I just think it's an interesting succession. Let's see what you guys saying up here. No comments. Well, that's good. Then I can keep going. So crime on the university campus. A key duty of the campus division is the maintenance of a safe campus environment. The division provides this thorough, honest, and transparent investigations. The division provides this through honest and transparent investigations and by gathering all available evidence in an effort to lead every investigation to an ethical resolve. I'm going to keep going right to the end. Get ready. Some serious word salad here, you guys. The campus division understands each situation is important to all who are involved. Division officers always endeavor to display a high level of respect and integrity to the suspect and the victim in every case. I'd be interested to know if any of the confidential informants from Moscow on that bust was some of the victims of King Road. Do we have the names of those arrested? Wow. That's a really good question. Can I read that last sentence again? Because it just kills me. Let's see. Sorry, my phone. Got to keep touching that screen, right? Division officers always endeavor to display a high level of respect and integrity to the suspect and the victim in every case. Okay. Display a high level of respect and integrity to the suspect and victim in every case. Crime statistics gathered in 2020 reveal the University of Idaho remained an exceedingly safe campus. The low crime rate at the University of Idaho is the direct result of continued interaction between the Moscow Police Department, students, faculty, staff, and University of Idaho administration. Campus division personnel will continue to work closely with all entities on campus to preserve the University of Idaho as one of the safest residential campuses in the country. If this Idaho 4 violence could happen at one of the safest residential campuses in the country, I know it wasn't on campus, you guys. It was literally right across the street from campus. Right across the street from campus, like right in the center of everything. Look, if you haven't looked at the map, definitely check that out. One of the safest residential campuses in the country? I don't think so. I don't think anything like this has happened at many other universities in the country to date. I know something similar happened in Florida with Ted Bundy back in the 70s, and something happened similar in Santa Barbara with the disgusting incel dude Elliot Rogers. What was that, 10, 20 years ago? um, these things don't happen. So to say that this university is one of the safest in the country, granted that this was written well before the incident, but we know that there's been a history of cover-ups with people meeting their maker, students meeting their maker. Where can I find this document, please? Annie Potts. I was going to put the link into the community post that I put last night. So last night I put up a community post that is a screenshot of what I just read to you. And I think I did. Actually, I think I did put the link in there. I'll double check and make sure because it was like as I was falling asleep. So I think I did. It might already be there in the community post from last night that has all that. And so it's a 50-page Moscow Police Department 2020 annual report. And it's very interesting. So yes, you are so welcome, Miss Annie Potts. And yeah, I hope that I didn't offend you at all last night when we were going back and forth about the Bohemian Grove and Monte Rio and the Muir Woods. So Bohemian Grove is in Monte Rio, and where that's relevant is that that's like a giant gentleman's club for the upper crust of the rich and famous, you guys. It's a crazy place. And it is actually slightly north and west of Santa Rosa. So it's about an hour north of the Muir Woods. But for some reason, and I didn't cross-reference what Annie Potts was saying in the chat last night on No News is Good News with Kim Gnu. And I believe you, Annie. I know you're rocking your research, that on the website for Muir Woods that it says that it's like a 6-mile walk through the trails to get to the Bohemian Grove. No offense taken. I just didn't understand why their website says 6 miles of trails leading to Bohemian Grove. Well, and you know what? Like I said, I haven't looked at it, but maybe the way I just read that is that it's 6 miles of trails leading north. And then if you go another 60 miles north, then you'll get to Bohemian Grove. So maybe that's what they meant. Or I made a kind of tongue-in-cheek comment, like maybe there's a portal. So I don't know, you guys. I mean, portals are crazy things, right? Like black holes are crazy things, but we know that black holes exist, and it seems that portals exist. I don't know. It seems like there's probably portals in the whole Tahoe crazy, right? maybe some portal up on top of the mountain where the Donner Pass is, up where the Lost Trail Lodge is. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of sketchy, crazy stuff. And I like to call it Titanic, right? It's safer than the one that starts with an S. The Titanic ritual crap. Um, so you guys, we are only at 35 minutes. I'm wanting to wrap up simply because I just wanted to come on and touch base with you, say hello, kind of, introduce you to Stian Norway. I'm going to put a link to Kim Ganu's one of her latest videos where she introduced him, and that's how I caught it. And it's so refreshing, just hilarious. So again, please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. There we go. I got it. Touch it. Share, subscribe. I am just, as I like to say again and again, I am so thrilled to have this YouTube channel, and I just passed my 7-month mark. I'm just creeping up to my 500,000 views. And as you know, if you're a regular, I just passed my 300 video mark. So it's really exciting to be doing this. And I love having you guys. So thank you so much for having me. Peace out. Have a fabulous rest of your day. I hope you can get exercise and rest and good nourishment. Stay hydrated and kick your feet up. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. Demand kindness and respect from everyone around you, no matter what. Absolutely, no matter what. Eat, pray, love, and basically just sending you light, sending you love. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again. Have a great day.